we could do now is go through our questions. So let me look at that now. And obviously, Mariama, if you are with us too, don't hesitate to read them too.
Yeah, there are a couple of in French that I can't really understand, so maybe you can do the
Yeah,
translation on
of
that.
course, I will translate those ones. So I have a question. The users, will they be able to exportate the mails in lots? So the mails are accessible via desktop client, Thunderbird, for instance, after the importation in the same desktop client.
Well, I think it's easiest way to do this is just to connect Thunderbird using IMAP, and then we'll sync all the email from Zimbra to your IMAP client. There is no real one-click button that does an export and then that allows you to import in Thunderbird, but the IMAP sync is very easy to set up, and it would just, cache everything into your client.
All right. Thank you, Barry. I see one that you already answered, but just for the sake of it, maybe for everyone to hear, is a migration possible between Zimbra 7 and Zimbra 9?
So yes, if we're talking about side-by-side migration, that is recommended, which means that you'll set up a new Zimbra 9 infrastructure and then you migrate over from your Zimbra 7 infrastructure all the information to the Zimbra 9 infrastructure. It is not recommended, however, to do an upgrade by just downloading the Zimbra 9 installer on your Zimbra 7 machine and then run the installer. So migrate, yes. In place update, not so much.
All right, got it. Another one. Beside from the new UI and third-party integrations, what are the other features that have been added to Zimbra 9?
It is a good question. I think the new UI and the Zimbra integration, that's pretty much it. Everything else is still the same.
Okay, thanks. Is Collaboration Open Source Edition available as well?
Yes. So as some of you may have noticed, Cinecore is no longer providing an open source installer or an open source downloadable tar file. That doesn't mean that anything else changed. The only change that is that you have to compile the version of the open source edition yourself, which we have instructions for you how to do, and I will share the link for those instructions in the chat in a sec. So yes, the collaboration and open source edition is still available, but you need to compile it yourself.
Brilliant. Then, is Zimbra 9 also available in French?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I know we have a couple of translations, but I have to look.
Yeah, I know that one, I confirm. Oui,
Yeah.
on a la version française de Zimbra 9. We have even other languages, obviously.
Yeah, a lot, but I didn't exactly know which ones.
Can we share a wall account from the UI?
Unfortunately, at this time, not in the new UI, but you can still do it in the old UI.
Okay. About Zimbra Connect, is it the same as Extra Team?
I don't know what this extra Steam app is, so I couldn't tell you.
All right. Within Connect, could we manage a multi-contact conversation? Sorry.
Now that's a nice ender question. I'm not sure.
Yes, you can. You have groups and channels, so you can have. It's not a one-to-one chat.
Now there's more than one user, but I'm not really sure what he means with manage. But yeah.
Ah, you mean you were not sure about the question?
Yeah, and of course it's multi-user, but.
Yeah. Well, I think that was it about having because we did a 1-1 on the demo, so I guess the question was can we have a one-to-many? So yes, we can. On videos as well,
Yeah, of
you
course.
can have one-to-many. Another one: is it possible to create a conversation with a list of diffusion and not only the users?
That this is the distribution list, right?
Oh, yes, sorry, yeah. Distribution list, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. So we have developed Zimlets, and I read they will not be compatible with Zimbra 9, but will they be compatible with classic UI?
Yeah, so as I've shown in the demo, the old UI, that is now called Classic, is still available, and every Zimlet that was written for the Classic UI would still work in the Classic UI on Zimbra 9. So that is fully compatible. The only thing is that you won't see them in the new UI.
Perfect. Will it be possible and easy to switch from a Zimbra collaboration server to Zimbra 9? Will there be a collaboration version for Zimbra 9? So this we already answered, so only the first question maybe.
So yes, this is possible, and it's also documented in the admin guide and on the wiki, which is basically just a migration from what we did before. If you went from open source edition to network edition, it's a similar type of migration. So yes, that would be easy. Will there be a collaborative version of Zimbra 9 to try? Well, we offer, as a matter of fact, accounts on our demo environment. So if you want to try out the Zimbra 9, you can just ask us for a demo and you get an account. In addition, there on the forums, there's somebody already that offers an open source collaborative download that you can use. And in addition, you can also compile it yourself.
Perfect. So is there a Zimbra Drive application to sync Drive to local computer folder as an Nextcloud Drive or OneDrive?
Unfortunately, no. But if that's really a requirement, you can also look at Briefcase, which is still in the product, and that can sync because it uses WebDAV. So you can use third-party tools to acquire some sort of sync.
Okay. Does Zimbra 9 include a high availability feature?
The Zimbra 9 UI is the same as the Zimbra 8 UI. And of course, in Zimbra, there has already been a lot of high availability features in terms of you can set up a multi-server environment and do some sort of failover. So that's still there. If we're talking about any new type of Dockerized containers, then no, that's not ready in Zimbra 9.
All right. So a lot of users are asking for export function because of quota. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
There is still the export feature in the old UI, and give me a sec to see if there is something in the new UI. I saw some. There is an export feature. Let me check. Yeah, as a matter of fact, if you right-click on any folder in new UI, there is an export feature. So yes, that's there.
Okay. There is no more briefcase.
At this point, it's still only available in the old UI, and there will be some more news about that later this year.
Okay, thank you. During the presentation, you talked about no migration and easy upgrade. Can you please tell us more about that?
Yeah, so that statement is there. That means if you are already on an 8.8 on Zimbra 8.8, then upgrading to Zimbra 9 is easy in terms of it's just a matter of of upgrading. So that's an easy upgrade with very limited risk. which means that you have to download the Zimbra 9 installer, extract it, and run the installer just like before.
Okay. Okay, thank you. There is no demo of the admin access on the server. Has it changed as well?
The admin UI is still the same as before. Nothing has changed.
Great. Could you show us how the integration with the other applications is displayed in the user interface?
I think we have a couple of videos on our YouTube channel. At least that shows the Slack integration. And there is going to be a video at the end of this week that shows the Zoom integration. I can't show it right now because I don't have it on the demo server, but the Zoom integration, basically what it does is it adds a button in the calendar, for example, to add Zoom meeting information to your calendar invite. And the Slack integration, there's already a video for that, but I'm not sure if people can find it, but there's a video. And what that does is it allows you to easily start a Slack conversation by clicking on an email, and then everybody on that email is added to that Slack conversation automatically. So those are some examples. And the OneDrive integration, for example, that does, you can attach from OneDrive and you can store email attachments to OneDrive and stuff like that.
Okay. Is it possible to suspend one user's email address sending availability because of spamming issue, for instance?
I didn't got all the parts of that question, but it's possible to log out an account, yes.
Okay. Is Zimbra Docs still installed on a separated different server?
It is, yes.
Can we connect ourselves on a cloud and share documents, sending the link, and also save directly documents?
So it's possible to start editing and saving documents directly from the UI. So that those are Office documents and stuff like that. Let me check if there is a public link share option. That won't take me much time. Yeah, there's a public link share generation option in Zimbra. So if you go to Zimbra Drive in that file list, you can right-click it and you can just say share, and then it can generate a link. Okay. And there's an option to make a public link as well.
All right, thank you. Is Zimbra 9 compatible with Red Hat 8?
Not this time, but I'm told that it is planned on the roadmap, and it's going to be there somewhere in 2021.
Okay. Can we dynamically manage mailing list with LDAP requests? Example with Microsoft LDAP, finer than just all users.
In these type of situations, what I usually do is, for example, if you have an attribute in your Microsoft LDAP, for example, all you want to have, all users have, for example, a member of or a department or something like that. The first thing I do is sync that to the Zimbra LDAP, and then you can do a dynamic distribution list. I'm not entirely sure if you can actually clear the Microsoft LDAP directly and then have a distribution list. But the best thing that is would be doing is syncing some of the LDAP attributes from Microsoft back to the Zimbra LDAP and then do a dynamic distribution list.
Okay. A funny one. Do we have any known regression from 8.8.15?
The only regression that I'm aware of, that was a search issue that affected both the old and new UIs, but has already been fixed in the first patch. Other than that, I'm not aware of any issues.
Okay. Is there a change in the management of the UI on Android and or iOS?
The responsive UI should pretty much render the same on both instances.
Right. The exports, are they still under the EML format?
Yes, these are still tar formatted email files. That is correct.
How do you share Sync contact list to mobile phone local contacts?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe that's something we can come back later via email after we dig on that one further. Does the offline functionality, did it evolve?
Not at the current state, no.
Okay. A Zoom integration only, not for Jitsi, for instance?
There is more integrations, and well, we made a decision to go for Zoom. At this point, there is no Jitsi integration.
Okay. There is no full lock, but only limit sending ability. Keep user able to read their received message. I don't really get the question here, Barry.
Well, it's probably that you want to have somebody not send out messages, but they can still read their messages. This is, I guess this is possible if you use CB policy. So I'll just make a note in the chat for you. CB policy would allow you to reject sending from an account.
Okay, thanks. For the open source Zimbra 9 release, is the update process as straightforward and simple as a network edition, just running the setup script without having to migrate any data?
Yes, because there is no difference between the Zimbra 9 GitHub repositories. So what you would see is that if you build Zimbra 9, you would just get what you would always get, a tarball, which you can extract with an install script, which is the same for the open source edition and for the network edition as well. So yes, it would still work.
Okay. Is Zimbra 9 compatible with Ubuntu 18.04 or 20.04?
Let me check what the list was now. There was currently support for Ubuntu 18.04, Ubuntu 14.04, and Ubuntu 16.04. And 20.04 is not supported yet.
Okay. So what is the recommended way to build an high availability cluster of 2 Zimbra 9 servers, active-passive configuration, with a small number of mailboxes?
Well, that is a very complex question. I'm not really sure if that is if this is the right forum for it. But if for a small number of mailboxes, for example, let's say 10, I would rather fall back to infrastructure failover than a full-blown suite of Zimbra servers, so to say. But again, this is not really the time for that discussion, I guess.
Okay, yes, you're right. Thank you very much, Barry. So one last question, and that will be the end. Which Ubuntu LTS versions are supported?
Yeah, those are the same as I mentioned before. It's Ubuntu 14.04, Ubuntu 16.04, and Ubuntu 18.04.
Thank you very much, Barry. Merci beaucoup à vous tous d'avoir participé aussi activement à cette session. Donc, évidemment, ça a été enregistré. On vous prépare ça et on vous l'envoie d'ici la semaine prochaine sans faute. Merci encore à tous. Au revoir.
Goodbye.